Thanks for joining us once again on the Bearcats Sports Network. It's part 2 of our 3-part season preview. Looking at the McKendree football program, we're joined by head coach Mike Babcock. We've already talked offense in part 1. Part 2 now focuses on the McKendree defense. And coach, this is a unit I should say, that was young last year, but a lot of key parts coming back. You've got 8 returning starters, especially everybody up front. Talk about this young, hungry defense. I know in talking to a lot of them in the preseason, this is a unit that they want to prove something this year.
Well, I mean, last year didn't even come close to the standard, that they want to set for themselves, and the culture of what we're trying to prove, right now. So we got a lot of guys hungry. I think we've had a good offseason, both spring ball, summer, and camp, with those guys. We have some new faces in the coaching staff on that side of the ball as well. I know a lot of it has to do with attitude and effort. That's kind of the big thing that we're looking for on that side of the ball. Our guys are going to be running to the ball in anything that we do. So it's been a fun off season and camp, and hopefully as we get going, the defense is ready to go. And
it all starts up front for McKendree defensively. And looking at your front four, you've got every starter returning back from last year, including several reserves. So you've got the depth there at defensive line. Talk about that front four for McKendree.
I think this is a very good group, very active. They run to the ball. I think they're led by senior leadership with Mike Smith. He's one of the guys that constantly does the right thing all the time. He might not necessarily be 6'8", 300 pounds and runs a 4.4, but he will play like he does, and that's what you want. Another guy that's having a great offseason is the other defensive end, Brandon Purnell. I think he's doing a great job of getting bigger and stronger, knowing his assignment, and again, having active feet and moving around. Interior-wise, I think there's always there's going to be a big group of guys continuing to rotate in. There's not necessarily a first string, second string. It's just, who's up right now. I'm looking at guys like Isaiah Ward, interior as a nose, that's done a nice job. Peyton Rankin as a senior, that again is quality in my opinion. Even at the 3 technique, having a freshman last year in Jalen Gaskin that's now back for a sophomore year at the 3 tech, having a guy like E.B. Naja be able to come back and play for us this year. So again, I think there's some quality depth at that position. They're playing hard, they're playing fast. I think they're having a good camp, and so hopefully stop the run a little bit.
McKendree linebacking core has traditionally been a strength of this program, and it's no different in 2019. You've leading tackler from last year, Rico Gibson, returns in the middle. You've got Ibn King, Jason Bennett moving up to an outside linebacker position this year, and more depth behind those guys. Talk about the linebacking core.
When you talk about kind of seniors, you would think about the linebacker core with Rico, Jason Bennett, even Kenneth Wilson. Being able to come into that mind frame as well. Also a transfer from last year, Darnell Harris. So there's 4 seniors right there in the linebacker core. So a lot of experience. The good thing is, especially with a guy like both Jason Bennett and Rico, very good leaders on this team. They're doing the right thing. When they get to the sideline, they're coaching guys on the sideline, pushing everybody to get better. Again, I think especially that group is definitely taking pride in we need to be better than we were last year. Like we want to be a top tier defense. It's been a top tier defense in the past. That's the standard that they want to set, and so it's been fun. You alluded to Ibn King. I think he's had a great offseason. I want to say an underclassman, but he's a junior now. But again, great people, guys that are going hard. Really excited about that group.
Biggest transition comes in the secondary, where you lost an all-conference performer in Blake Benoist, and several guys transitioning out of those roles. But a guy like Kenneth Garrett, who really came on as a redshirt freshman last year, Jaden Brown, Dakota Reed back for his senior season. Talk about your secondary.
Again, not as many seniors. Dakota Reed being the only senior had, but Dakota's a very solid player. He doesn't say all that much, but when he says it, guys listen. He's a solid corner in everything that we do. I think Kenneth Garrett, being kind of your free safety back there, is extremely fast. He got a lot of those young guys, mistakes done last year. So hopefully I'm expecting big things out of him, along with Devin Miles at the strong safety position. So, hopefully those two guys will have a good season as well. And then on the perimeter, a guy like Jaden Brown, Darwin Perkins, even freshmen that are coming up in Drew Crooks. I think a lot of those guys have had solid camps. So I'm kind of excited to see as we finish up camp how it's going to unfold and who's going to take those starting roles. But like I talked about earlier with the D-line, all of those guys are going to be, playing. So, hopefully get going and have some fun with it.
Coach, we alluded to it in the outset of this preview, a young group last year, but you get, like we said, several starters back, 8 starters, and a unit that, in talking to several of them, they felt like they had something to prove this year. Have they proven themselves so far in preseason? Do you see them going in the right direction?
I think so. I build it as any kind of defense philosophy-wise. Are you running to the ball? Are you having fun? And that's where making plays then, comes into it. So if you know what you're doing, you're lining up and you're going full speed, good things happen. Doesn't matter if you're playing cover 3, cover 2, man-to-man, whatever it is. If you can do those things and have fun while you're doing it, you're a hard defense to stop. And I think that's what I've seen in these last 2.5, 3 weeks from this defense, which has been a lot of fun to watch.
Coach, thanks for your time and talking about the McKendree defense of 2019.
Appreciate it.
We have one more part of our season preview to go, and that final installment will be special teams along with Coach Babcock's outlook for 2019. Don't forget to join us here again on mckbearcats.com.